Dr. Vincent, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Happy weekend, Richard. Happy weekend, everyone.
It's always good to have a happy weekend if we can. On there. Now, today you want to talk about embracing technology. That is something that I can relate to.
I know I thought that you would like this topic because I really do think that something, including technology, can be bad and can be good, and it really depends on how we utilize it and how we integrate it into our life to our benefits, including technology when it comes to health.
And there are so many things around now and so many things on the horizon. So, they're talking now that we're going to see watches that will measure your blood sugar level coming down the track.
That's correct. And that this kind of technology actually really helps in terms of making it easy for people to monitor their health, including their blood sugar level. I mean, nowadays we already have things like blood pressure. We already have a heart rate. And I really do think that the fact that, COVID happened actually accelerated this innovation and product to market when it comes to wearable health devices. Because, probably remember that Apple actually accelerated the release of the oxygen saturation measurement on the Apple Watch during COVID, because one of the vital signs when people contracting COVID or any respiratory diseases is that they need to be able to supply their body with oxygen. So I really do think that when we harness the power of technology, we can improve our daily health and wellness. Obviously, there are advancements in terms of medical technology in the hospital, but today I want to focus on things that we can integrate into our daily lives and make our pursuit of healthier lifestyle easier.
Because, most of us carry a smartphone out there. There are so many great apps that we can go along and put on there. I just went and checked my heart rate then. So my heart rate today, because I have been to the gym, has gone from, in between 81 to 168 beats per minute. So, it's something I do look because it shows how hard I push some days.
Yes, and for me, in the same breath, I actually pay a lot more attention to my steps because working, I don't have a sedentary lifestyle, but I do tend to spend hours and hours in front of a computer or in a meeting or on the phone rather than, being active and walking around. So I really pay attention to the number of steps that I clock in every day because I don't know if you remember, I've said this before, the amount of steps that you clock in every day is actually more important than the calorie that you burn. Yeah. Because calorie only refers to the energy that you burn, but steps not only refers to the calorie that you burn, but also the amount of movement. And movement is really good for our body because it encourages circulation. And guess what? When it encourages circulation in your body, it helps in your brain health. It makes you smarter and it makes your body able to recover faster because it is being supplied with fresh blood, with fresh oxygen and all the nutrients.
Yeah, I've done 5,729 steps so far today.
Oh, I bet you on that one. I'm on 13,722. Yeah. I literally just check it right now.
Yeah, we're doing that. But I've also sat down for the last 2 hours in front of a microphone.
I was about to say that. So, but this is one of the examples that you can monitor it so that on the day that you know that you're not clocking in enough steps, you can make it up maybe early morning the next day or after dinner, which I really think that everybody should invest in a smart fitness or activity tracking. You don't have to have a smartwatch, or you don't have to invest in expensive smartwatch. I think you can get it from places like Amazon or Kogan for like $69. It is basically, if you cut down, I don't know how much a bacon and egg roll in Adelaide, but the other day it cost me $16. So if I cut down 4 bacon and egg rolls, I can, you know what I mean?
Buy some tech, which is what we want. But there are so many good fitness apps around that monitor our sleep patterns. The sleep pattern ones probably concern me because sometimes I don't think they're entirely accurate.
It doesn't. It's not, and I think every apps will tell you that it, especially when it comes to sleep, it is not accurate when you just measure the precision, but it gives you a trend over time, and that helps you to A, identify if you have a sleeping problem, and B, because you know that you have a sleeping problem, you make efforts towards solving that or towards making it better. However, what I would recommend people to do in terms of the health and wellness apps, there are things like MyFitnessPal. A lot of times, I think one caller last week said that it's really hard to track what he was eating, and a lot of us, I can count calories, outside of my head because I used to be a practicing nutritionist, and that was what I was doing day in, day out. But for the rest of us, apps like MyFitnessPal helps us to clock in and monitor and record all the calories that we put into our body. This is not by any means to make you become obsessive with what you're eating, but it teaches you how your body responds to certain food, how your body responds to the amount of carbohydrate, protein, and fat that you put into your body. And believe me, after 3 or 4 months, give it 3 or 4 months, you don't need the app anymore because you're doing it day in and day out, and you know your body. And we always say that there is no one solution that fits everyone.
That's right.
But the first step is getting to know your body better.
So, I mean, they all give you a guide. It's great if you can have a watch because it doesn't matter if you're on Android or Apple. You can pair those things to your phone. So, it's about giving you some encouragement as well, isn't it?
Yes, and it depends on which type of device that you choose to use. You can have a competition between your friends or your family members. I think a lot of workplaces actually do 10,000 steps every day, and then you get which is really funny, right? You get chocolate by the end of the week, whoever clocks in the highest steps. I've done that before, and I don't mind that because it gives you the sense of accomplishment. It gives you a sense of, rewarding your hard work. And everybody responds positively to positive reinforcement. So I think these kind of things, you have to make it interesting. You have to trick your brain into wanting to do all of this stuff because by default, human body is a little bit lazy. And this is a result and a product of evolution because back in the day, food was scarce. So our body was designed to do its best to try to conserve energy. And this is the reason why, it's easier to stay at home, watching Netflix, eating chips, than going out there and be active.
It is. There was be very careful what I say. There is a outdoor fitness place here in Adelaide that rewards all its people. They go off for coffee and cake and sausage rolls and that after they've exercised after that. I think that kind of defeats the purpose a tiny bit, Vincent. That's
correct. But a little bit of treat every once in a while is good. It's just that you can't sabotage yourself. No. A lot of people, they eat really, really healthily and they binge on wine or they binge on chocolate bars, which, I mean, a lot of us, we have weak spots. So I am more of savory person. So I can easily say no to a piece of cake or 2 pieces of cake. But if you open a tube of Pringles, I would probably get tempted.
There we go. It's what we like. Now, some of the advances we've had, if we go back 10 years ago and we said, we're going to talk to the doctor over our phone, we would have said that's nonsense. But it's amazing what we can do now, isn't it?
I know. And again, humanity prevails, and humanity is so amazing because during COVID and pandemic, during the lockdown, we actually innovated, and then we made it possible for us to see our doctors without having to be in the same room. And while for a lot of us, we don't need it now that we are no longer in a pandemic, but this opens up avenues to people in the remote places, in the remote community, to actually access better health care. And a lot of us, some of us, I shouldn't say a lot of us, but some of us don't actually feel quite comfortable going into doctor's surgery, waiting there, and then, talk face to face to our GP or a doctor. This opens up opportunity to encourage people to pay more attention to their health, to actually seek help without being hesitant or without having that barrier into going up in the form of going into the doctor's office.
And I was going to say, I wonder if, because going to the doctor for so many people out there now is getting priced out with the gap on there, because, doctors aren't bulk billing the way that they used to go along and do that. So, I was just, when we were talking about it, I was just wondering if any of the doctors out there give a discount for online consultations.
Well, there you go. If there's any doctors out there that's actually doing that, please let us know, because I would love to know that as well. Because a lot of my friends and people from my community actually say that they especially with the cost of living now, a lot of them they actually put delay going into seeing their doctors if they're not in pain. But a lot of, like, this is the reason why we go to doctors, right? Because we haven't gone through medical studies, so we shouldn't actually diagnose ourselves. But I understand that to go into the doctor, A, you have to take time off work, and B, it costs you money. So I hope that if the system allows, with a telemedicine and cheaper price in terms of the gap, probably it encourages people to pay attention and look after themselves more.
Yeah, we would hope so. Some of the online health communities out there and support are great ideas, as long as you're getting advice from qualified people to give that advice.
That's correct. And I do think this is a little bit of a double-edged sword, because it can exacerbate someone's worriness when it comes to their health. I actually did this experiment this morning before we went on air. If you type symptoms such as headache, the first one and second one onto Google, the first and second result, fine. But by the time you get to the second page, suddenly I might be developing cancers, or I might be suffering from any form of brain cancer. So you need to be very, very careful in terms of reading things that are on the internet. However, if you actually know that your condition or your situation can benefit from talking to people, be it,
some of the forums out there for some diseases are absolutely wonderful to give these people support. And I was just going to say that one of the things I read this morning, I would not take any health advice from TikTok. But there is a new trend on there that if you've got a headache, you stick your feet in hot water and the headache will disappear.
Yes, unfortunately, last year influencers, it used to be, this is statistics, so don't come at me by saying this, but it used to be professions such as real estate agent or things like that they are quote unquote untrustworthy. But I think last year it was the influencers, because they get paid pushing some products, and it really, really pains me when I see some of them peddling this health advice or nutrition advice without actually having any qualification to do so, because it makes people like me, our job become harder, because we don't have 1.5 million followers on TikTok. So it seems like our advice is less truthful than or powerful and valid compared to these influencers with millions of followers. But actually, we invested our time and studying all of this nutrition and knowledge about our human body. You should get your advice from people with the appropriate qualification.
Qualified to give that advice. The thing that I thought was quite funny about the girl sticking her feet in hot water is that it's probably the reason the headache goes is because her feet are burning at the time. So,
yes, you're just changing the source of pain so that you forget about your headache, and then you have
worry
your
about the
blisters
skin
probably on your
peeling
skin.
off your feet at the time.
There you go.
We always knock artificial intelligence, but some of the recommendations and things that we look at, the data analytics and the artificial intelligence, it has got some really good things coming for it, hasn't it, Vincent?
That's correct. As long as we have a human that controls and monitors this system, because artificial intelligence is only as good as the data that is being fed into the system, and the results need to be analyzed with humanity in mind, because a lot of times while it gives us a very precise and accurate statistical data, it lacks that human experience and it lacks that human touch. And I really do think that there's a lot more to health than just the data. And this is the reason why I feel that your GP, your nutritionist, your dietitian, listening to scientists and researchers, it's still very important. We are not saying no to artificial intelligence, but we just have to tread carefully, because it can suddenly become quite out of control, in my opinion.
It might be heading that way. We don't know. We hope it isn't. Vincent, where can we find out more about you?
On appleaday.com.au. If you go to our website, you can find health articles, advice, recipes. And if you go to our website and decide that you want to try our product, you can go to Woolworths or Coles. You know that we use 100% Australian apples in all of our products. The technology was homegrown at the University of Newcastle, and we are a 100% Australian company. So when you are supporting us, not only you're supporting your health, you're also supporting a small business in Australia, as well as the great community of Australian apple farmers.
And that's why we like talking to you. Can I talk to you again next week?
I will see you next Saturday, and I'll leave you with one word. Have a great, great weekend.
No worries. Vincent, you do as well. Thanks very much. We will talk to you next week. Dr. Vincent and appleaday.com.au.